Welcome. Video number 6 of the Vivid Walkthroughs. This goes over the drums module, 2,200 drums. In fact, up to here, this is a repetition from our main module, and then from here onwards, it's all more and more drums. So what I'm going to do is walk through one or two of these so you have full understanding of how to lay a pattern, and then switch it up by changing octaves or changing kits. Then up here, these have all been laid using the MIDI pattern builder again, so you have access to all this. And in the next video is actually where I'm going to go over this in more detail. And once these are playing, I'm simply going to change kits, change octaves, and be very random to show you how it's kind of hard to make things sound bad unless you're doing like totally different genres where you know those types of drums won't fit. Also, we've named all these kits to sort of match up with the drums, but really it's just me organizing sounds. So you can mix and match kits very easily, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, where all these sounds are laid on one layer, right? Your kick, your snare, your hi-hat. It's not really how the final should be, even though that's how I've been doing it for these demos. I just want it to be efficient. But in this video, I'm going to show you my typical process for once I have my drums laid out. Kick, snare, hi-hat, clap, whatever else. I actually separate everything onto its own layer so that you can get treatments going for every single sound that are different instead of having everything on one layer. It's actually very not good to do this way. But for the demo and just to show you guys how well the sounds do go together before treatments are added, we're just going to fly through it this way. So first, a very quick walkthrough of the actual kits. We're always going to have 2 kicks, C and C sharp, 2 snares, D and D sharp, 2 hi-hats, usually open and close, followed by a clap, then 3 random sounds or 1 spanned. In this case, it's 1 spanned. Up here, it's actually, I think a majority of them are going to be spanned, but once we get into here, they're different. And then we end off the octave, oftentimes with a cymbal or a cymbal-ish sound. Okay, so that's 5 octaves deep and 40 patches deep, or 35-ish patches deep. Some of these are wars and guns and risers and falls and effects, what have you. But the rest are all laid out just like this. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to lay a very quick pattern here. Bear with me. Okay, so we have a kick, snare, hi-hat. Now what else all the kits have is a cymbal on the B, the bottom octave before the first drums is on C0. So if we go down to C0, we will have that's a riser, and that's a fall. All right, and all those will make sense for this first half of the kits. So what I'm going to do is draw in my fall and then end off here with my riser. If it doesn't make sense yet, it will in a moment. So let me play this now, and I have kick, snare, hi-hat, cymbal, fall, and riser. Nice and simple. Now below that C0, we actually give you guys a bass tone. So let me do this. On the higher octaves, we give you guys a complementary sound to the bass. So in this instance, it's a vox. In other instances, it'll be a flute. It'll be something high that fits in the higher keys. A piano, a flute, a violin, a string, something up there, so that you can basically sketch a full little beat on one layer. You're probably going to want to separate everything, like I said before, not have it all on one layer, but to sketch with, we've done that for all these. So what I'm going to do now is just, while I have this laid, is change up some of these kits while it's playing. Let's go. Okay, and then on the actual octaves themselves, I'm going to choose the kick, snare, and hi-hats and start moving them up and down octaves and change kits a little bit here and there to show you guys that when you change octaves, it's just like changing patches. Okay, and all those kick, snare, hi-hats will work throughout all of these. However, these extra sounds down below and up high are only available in the first half up to here, up to the beatboxes. In fact, some of these aren't kits. They're the risers, the falls, the impacts, and the effects, and the rolls, and the tribal, and the war and guns, which are all kind of fundamental elements in the beat part of the process before we get into instruments and treatments and bass tones and whatnot. So there you have it. I'm going to now move into this part, loop this long string of MIDI pattern builder files, and just change kits again like I was just doing. This second layer down here is actually hi-hats. So I've already kind of started to separate some of the sounds just to give you guys an example where kick snare is up here, hi-hat is down here. Eventually it'll be kick, then snare, then hi-hat, and then whatever else as we move down into our layers. So after I do this, I will separate one of these bars and I'll show you an example. Let's go. Okay, that's a good amount of auditioning. What I'm going to do is move this guy over here So, like I said, I like to separate my drums once I'm done. I'm going to actually just close this for a second. I'm going to focus on right here. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're actually going to duplicate this 6 times. And there's a few different ways to do this. I'm just going to do the most basic and standard so you guys get an understanding. In Logic, you can duplicate. I assume most DAWs you can duplicate. So just literally duplicate your layer. You're going to have the same Kontakt instrument open. You're going to be on the same kit. And you're just going to drag this down and get rid of everything on this except for the top layer. Okay, we're going to do it again. Go up to the top one, duplicate it, copy itself down, and this time we're going to remove everything except for the next layer. We're going to repeat this process until we have everything separated. Alright, so now we have 6 layers separated, and here's the same thing all back on one. Just want to get you guys to audition both of them, show you they're exactly the same. It's just everything's been stripped down to its own layer. Alright, so now that we have everything on its own layer, obviously you can go in here, go into your kick, let's say, we'll solo this. Even though we do a great job with mastering all the sounds, giving you that thump and that knock, you can still go in here, add your delays, distortions, EQ it a little more, get a little more out of it. Maybe go into your snare, get rid of any kind of lows, give the highs a little bit of a boost. And from here, you create amazing separation and giving everything its own treatments. Like if you just want the snare to have a little bit of a reverb, nothing else, then great, now you can do that. Alright, so now that everything's separated and has its own treatments, we can still go back in here, open up any one of these, and in this instance it's the kick. And now if we want to change just that kick, we can do so easily. Or the snare or anything else. Then you can also do the same by going in here and changing octaves. Also, there's 2 kicks beside each other, so you can just go up 1 note, and that's another kick. So the 2 kicks, 2 snares, 2 hi-hats, always being beside each other, 5 octaves deep, stretched out over 40 banks, literally gives you guys unlimited possibilities of sounds and flavors and what have you. So once you have all these layers laid, you can easily move into the tribals, wars, special effects, impacts, etc., rolls, risers and falls, to give everything a little bit more character and making it unique. That's going to cover it for the drums module. See you guys on the next video.